It's in breaking news just a few minutes ago. The FDA authorizing Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for kids ages 5 through 11. Now, this is the first vaccine to be authorized for children within that age group. We want to bring in Dr. Bhavna Lall, University of Houston College of Medicine clinical assistant professor. And doctor, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. We were waiting for this ruling today. Now, of course, the question is, what's the next step and what's your reaction to this? Because we've been waiting for this group of children to be eligible for a vaccine.
Thank you so much for having me. So I think this is a great step forward. Kids have been waiting for this vaccine. Parents have been anxiously waiting for this vaccine. And this week, November 2nd, we'll be having the CDC ACIP meeting, and we'll be having some more news regarding authorization from CDC as well and recommendations moving forward.
All of this is with some things that are coming down the pike. We have the incredible holiday travel rush that is going to hit soon. And then we also have international travel. The restrictions are going to ease up so that anybody across the world can come to the United States, assuming they can prove that they have been vaccinated. And do you have any concern about opening the borders for all of us and having this global flow of humanity once again?
I think so. 33 countries have been banned since the pandemic began, and given that the precautions that they're taking, they're actually going to be making sure that the people who are traveling are fully vaccinated, and they do have to show proof of negative testing as well within 3 days and within 1 day for unvaccinated travelers who are American citizens. So I do think that this is welcome news for families that have been trying to reunite as well. I do hope that everyone follows the pandemic restrictions and continues to be vigilant as this travel opens up. And and as we see around the world, this is still spreading. COVID is still spreading. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. We have lockdowns occurring in several countries around the world. We have increased cases in Europe happening right now. So we really have to maintain vigilance over the next couple of months, especially during the winter months, and make sure that people continue to do the things that they need to be doing. If they're not vaccinated, they should get vaccinated. We do have to make sure that we continue to have indoor masking as well, and continue to remain in a state of that we are trying to open up, but we need to make sure that we understand that there's still a pandemic. And 3% of low-income countries, for example, have been fully vaccinated. So I do think that we need to, as everyone has been saying, vaccinate the world, vaccinate people who are not vaccinated right now, and ensure that we have enough vaccination coverage that we can bring this pandemic down, and also continue to have other layers as well, such as masking, ventilation, testing, that we can continue to employ so that we don't have these surges that happened last year as well.
Doctor, getting back to the FDA authorizing Pfizer's vaccine for children, I guess from your perspective, what do you think parents should be considering as we do get closer to this group of children being able to get their shot or being able to get shots in their arms?
So I think that parents should consider that this has been trialed and tested. There are kids that have been in clinical trials for the last year trying to make sure this is a safe vaccine, and that we hope that more children will get vaccinated. And we hope that people will understand that this has been trialed and this is a safe and effective vaccine. And FDA has authorized this now, and CDC will be giving recommendations soon as well next week. So I do think that parents should be mindful that this is a tested and trialed vaccine, and this authorization is something that many organizations have considered and taken seriously, and not to be concerned about misinformation campaigns that are already spreading right now about the vaccine.
Can you share with us, without any names, the discussions that you might have had with parents who have children who are going to be eligible for these vaccines, or what your colleagues are hearing from parents, both the concerns and perhaps the get me this vaccine as soon as possible for my kid?
Yeah, so I think from my colleagues, I know many colleagues of mine that are parents right now that are anxiously awaiting for this vaccine for their children. And they're saying they're going to be first in line to get this vaccine for their kids. And I do know that there's been some hesitation as well from others because they're a little bit concerned that there are younger children involved, and maybe they want to see what will happen the first couple of days. But I think that we need to this is an amazing event that's happening here. The fact that we have had now a vaccine that has come out during the middle of the pandemic for adults, and now a vaccine that's authorized for children as well, ages 5 through 11. It's an amazing feat for science, and I think we should be lauding all the people that have been involved in all of this. And I do hope that more parents get their children vaccinated soon so that we can bring this pandemic to an end in the near future.
Doctor, in just, I guess, less than 2 hours from now, New York City's deadline for municipal workers to get vaccinated or face unpaid leave. We've seen a number of protests over the last couple of days in response to this. When you see protests against vaccine mandates, what's your reaction?
So I find it sad. I mean, I think as a doctor, I don't want to see more people die from COVID. I don't want to hear about more people dying from COVID. We've all had a very long 2 years dealing with this pandemic, and we need to make sure that people understand that this vaccine is to save lives. This is to save people's lives who are it's not just about decreasing your chance of getting vaccinated, getting infected. It's also to decrease the chance that immunocompromised individuals, elderly, won't get infected, and people who really have been trying to take all the safety measures they can and all the precautions they can, and they still are at risk. So this pandemic and the fact that we have a vaccine during this pandemic is an amazing it's an amazing opportunity, and it's an amazing feat for science. And I do hope that people take it seriously, that if they don't get vaccinated, they're likely going to get COVID. And this vaccine is not something that we're pushing on people. It's really to protect others so that we can all come out of this pandemic and also improve jobs, improve the economy. It's for everyone's safety. And it's been trialed and tested, and millions of people around the world have taken this. Billions.
Dr. Bhavna Lall, University of Houston College of Medicine clinical assistant professor. Thanks so much.